Mom, okay, Dale and I were
Stop
just...
calling me Mr. Doback.
Sorry. Okay, Mom, Doback, we think it would be very prudent.
Can we turn our beds into bunk beds?
Yes.
Why are you guys so sweaty?
All right, we've already figured out how to do this. The beds match up perfectly.
And here's the thing, it'll give us so much extra space in our room to do activities.
Please say yes.
You don't need permission from us to build bunk beds. You're adults. You can do what you want.
So...
I'm not making myself clear. I don't give a fuck. Now, you both have several interviews tomorrow. I would think you'd be focused on that and not building bunk beds.
So we can? No?
Yes. Yes.
Sweet.
You can make them.
I knew it.
Okay, you guys are not gonna regret this. We're gonna get so much more activities done.
This is the funnest night ever.
This is so scary.
How you doing over there?
Really good. Okay.
Does your son know anything about carpentry?
No, not a. Did I hear a drill? Dale!
Power tools.
Dale, no power tools!
Oh, what?
No power tools!
You know what? I forgot I have to brush my teeth.
That is not your toothbrush!
Oh, okay. Well, I'm all done anyway.
We did it.
We did it.
It looked amazing.
Look at that. That looks like what you would buy from a store.
It should have been
Look
a
at
bunk
all the
bed
sports
up.
space.
So
We
much,
do aerobics in here.
so many activities.
Do step class.
It's making my head spin how many activities we can do.
Play Army Man.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
Da, 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 da.
Hey, I never asked you.
Yeah.
You like guacamole? Ah! Open! Oh, God!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave. We are Ryan and Corey. You listen to the Much About Nothing podcast, the show where we give expert takes and good-hearted debates. We talk ball and anything and everything else. Today, we will be discussing adult children going back home. If you got something to say, please put it in the comments. If you're new to the pod, greetings. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, smash that bell. If you're already part of the fam, welcome back. Please like, share, and comment. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let's get into it.
Yes, man. Welcome each other and everybody, man. Welcome back. I know it's been a long time since we've been on. We thank y'all for waiting. We thank y'all for being patient with us for a lot of things that we've been going through and doing throughout our daily lives. So we're getting right back into this. And today's episode is going to be Homeward Bound, talking about moving back home. If maybe you haven't, I mean, I could share the stories, several stories where I have had to go back home and reset and get my life back in order. And there's certain things and guidelines that you have to go through. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with. Maybe you're dealing with that. Maybe you have to deal with that. And it's a lot of egos involved, a lot of things that come along with that. But we're gonna start this thing off with kicking it back off to you, Hamp. Emotional adjustment, both for parents and adult children.
Okay, all right. So before we go in there, I do want to say, like, let's go back into it a little bit and let's talk about like some of the factors that cause it to happen. Like, we got transitions. Like, what I mean? We got transitions like you can be transitioning from school, transition from military. Sometimes you can be transition from incarceration. You can be transitioning from relationships. You can be transitioning for whatever reasons. There's a transition there. There could be you're saving up for something. If you're saving up for a home and you say that if I don't have to pay rent for a year, then maybe I can purchase a home, down payment on a house type situation. Or you could be, that's on that side, but sometimes you're moving in to help out parents.
Yeah, that's another aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, it ain't always kid moving in. Sometimes they moving for other reasons. All right, but before we get into it, man, first off, we have to acknowledge that today we have a new first in here. Shout out, you can go ahead and get that shout out, Corey.
Oh,
who was first in the building today?
Oh, the first person that arrived was Crystal. Crystal beat Tiff out for the first time ever in this podcast. Has been shot 68 episodes and 68 straight episodes. Tiff has been the first one in here.
So you gotta wake up early. You gotta wake up early.
That streak has been broken 68 times straight. I have never seen nobody. When I looked up there, I said, "Whoa, what in the world? Somebody beat Tiff in here." The dot was a different color. Usually the dot is an orange. It was blue for some reason. I was like, "What in the world going on here?"
Yo, hey, what up, Tip? What up, Crystal? What up, Ty? What up, Tawada? What up, AD? Uh, what up, everybody? What up, everybody? All right, so back to it, Corey. You think any other reasons why folks make that transition?
I think it's several reasons that go into it, but most of the factors are the ones you named. Number one being, what I'm saying, financial crisis. I think a lot of times us is, well, I can't say us. I'm more the older adult now, but during the time in life when I was young, we make mistakes. I mean, at the end of the day, it's nice to have a safety net. Some people don't have that. Some people resort to homelessness. But thank God I had a loving father and mother that welcomed me in, that let me reset my life and get back on my feet when I struggled. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things going navigating the dynamics of life, and sometimes you make bad decisions that get you in bad. You know what I'm saying? It force you to make learning lessons. Also, going back home to help our parents. At the end of the day, if the if rough meet the rough, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. It's nothing for me to sell my house and could join our assets in one, because at the end of the day, I think our family is the biggest unit that we have. Me and my we go through stuff. We ain't went through stuff today. I mean, me on this podcast going. A lot of people don't understand the damn near my sister do, but that's one thing we pride ourselves on, it that we can link up together and come together. Me and my parents and my sister, we always come together as one. It's us against the world. It's always like that. That's just how we do. And the case of my parents' financial mind, yeah, I take a drop off or move them in over here and whatever it takes to get everything together. We'll stay in one house. I don't got no problem staying with my parents. My parents ain't got no problem staying with me. But a lot of dynamics to go into that. And depending on the situation could affect the way the arrangement is. It depends on if you moving back home to help out. Then you might have to be a little bit more lenient on the rules that are applied to that little lady.
Okay. Hmm. So you say you done it before?
Yes, I have done it. Yeah, I'm thinking to have I done it twice. I know I done it once. I'm trying to think, have I done it twice? Did I do it? No, I think I only did it once. Chris could be more exact. Did I move back home twice? Chris, I think I moved back home once. Yeah, once. I'm talking about with the wife. Moved back home with the wife and the kids. Yeah, Chris moved back home twice. Did I move back home twice? It was twice, Chris. I don't remember the other time. Yeah, twice. I think we both moved back home twice. But the last one before I bought this house, yeah. I knew before I bought this house, I moved back home. I can't remember the other time.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think. Maybe it'll come to me eventually. I can't remember that good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, that was an interesting dynamic. I mean, moving back home. Excuse me.
okay. So all right. So let's. All right. So we're gonna talk about. You said the emotional adjustments, right?
Hmm.
All right. So, I what type of emotional adjustments are involved in that? Now, and like you, I've done it. I went back home when I transitioned from the military. It was about a summer, maybe
Hmm.
not quite. About a summer, maybe a couple months. But what are some of the emotional things that go there?
Well, number one, it was I think when you first move out, you get this idea worked up in your head. I'm grown now. You know, you get this sense of pride within yourself, like I'm on my own. Can't nobody tell you what to do. And it's really, really humbling having to go back, depending on the aspect of what you going back. If you made a mistake, then you going back home, you can't feel like a failure. Feel like you failed in life. And you know what I'm saying? I think many people children that move back home with the parents would take that as the first sign of I failed. Why did I get out here, and now I'm back where I grew up in. I'm looking at the same bed that I said I won't never come back to, and I'm back here. And it can be humbling at the end of the day, and sometimes it's much needed. I mean, I would like to y'all to ask yourself in the chat. Have y'all ever been through this? I want to know y'all opinions on it too. But yeah, quite for me was a reality check. I would say it was a reality check to understand how serious life is, and if my parents were not there, how much more harmful this situation could have been if they weren't there. If I didn't have good, loving parents that were there, that willing to accept me back, me and all my mess, because I was way out there and still was out there even during that time. But you know what I'm saying? Loving parents, man, loving parents. Great safety net at that time. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but both for the parents because at the same time they had to while loving me, they had to love the adult me. Cause the child me is very different than the adult me. You know what I'm saying? Cause you still as a parent want to have respect for your child being grown, but understanding that your child is in your house. You get what I'm saying? And I ain't never understand that then, and it's crazy because I understand that now, and I look at it like imagine somebody coming into my house with their own set of beliefs and rules and stuff. Because my parents were saved and I was unsaved when I moved back home, so it ain't like they got the saved core; they got the unsaved core. So I brought a lot of things along with it, even though I didn't drink in the house. I still drank. They knew I was coming in late nights and still involved with a lot of stuff. So it's stuff they had to deal with they wouldn't had to put up with, you know. And that's something they chose to put up with because of the love for me. And that's why I say the emotional adjustment with that. Emotional adjustment with the fact of your child is doing something that you don't believe in. They stand underneath your roof and accepting it just because you want them to have a roof over their head. You don't want to put them out on the street. Now you could, you know what I'm saying, lay the hammer down, but the effect that it might take might be negative. So
Some some of the emotions I felt, I don't know. You can tell me whether it's simple or not, but the first emotion was relief. That's the first emotion. The first emotion is relief because, like, before you make that decision, you gotta think back to all the things, all the other options that you explored before
mm,
it was going back to the house.
oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because I'm pretty sure all of us are the same. We explore all the other options. Like,
Yeah. That was the last option.
there's always
Like,
before I go back to that bunk bed, there's a lot of other options I want to explore first. So you explore all these options. Um, Once you explore all of those options, and then you finally get to the point where this is my last option, and then the answer is yes. The first thing you feel is relief, in my opinion. Could be wrong. Uh, and then after relief, I think there comes embarrassment.
mm,
I think there's relief, there's embarrassment. Because, as soon as you actually go bring your belongings, because you got to bring your belongings in the house, you know what I'm saying? So you got to carry what's on your back most of the time. You carry what's on your back, you coming in there, you trying to figure out, you know what I mean? Like, I think for most of us, we feel like I ain't going to be there that long. Did you feel that
yeah.
way?
Yeah, I ain't gonna be here that long. I'm just doing a little
Yeah.
pit stop.
Yeah.
Little pit
So,
stop.
so I ain't going to bring a bunch of stuff in
Well,
here.
yeah, I ain't gonna bring a whole bunch of I'm gonna breeze through. Ain't no need to get the bed all set. I ain't about to hang
Yeah,
nothing on these walls.
yeah,
I'm out of
yeah.
here.
I don't need them hangers. I just leave my stuff in the bag, and then the next thing you know, you're looking for something. You're pulling stuff out the bag. Then you need to hang it up. You know what I'm saying? You need to
Yeah,
put it
they
back
put
in the
it.
bag. Then
Yeah,
you go.
those are
Then
the
you,
dresses.
yeah, and then at some point you find yourself buying clothes to put your hangers in there, and it's like
Hey man, I'm
this.
in here.
It's the embarrassment. You see a little scribbles you wrote on the bed before in the wall. So you got the embarrassment.
Well, the benefit of my situation because my parents, the house that they ended up moving into another house, and they bought another piece of property that was next door, so I didn't have to move into the house that I grew up in. I had to move back into the house that they bought. So But I could have moved to the house that I grew up in, but I didn't want to stay in that one.
So, and then after you get through the embarrassment, I think then you go through the frustration phase.
Hmm.
Like when things ain't moving, as fast as you want to, or the time that you do something, or sometimes for me it was when somebody questioned me.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be questioned. Like I felt like, but I mean, now that I'm an adult and I look back, like you said, like I'm in somebody's whole house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a kid. I'm not a kid no more. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not a kid, and I'm sitting here and I'm upset. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm upset. I'm frustrated because, like, I see myself as an adult, but at the end of the day, like, I'm really the homeless.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really
You had somebody else mercy.
yeah, I'm really the homeless. You know what I mean? That's really
How
it.
did you
So,
respond to somebody asking you, like, yo, where you stay at, yo?
see, nobody really asked me, so like, I didn't have to go through that. Like, like I said, I was transitioning from the Marine Corps, so I came back. I came back home, and nobody really asked me. I could say that, but if they had, I probably would have lied about it.
Yeah.
Or been ambiguous or
Be
something
like,
like
they
that.
stay with
Yeah,
me. Be like, they
yeah,
stay with me.
yeah. Or I'll be like, I live somewhere out on the beach or something. Or, what I mean, it'd have been something like that. I would have been like, yeah,
Nah, everybody tell them that I stay.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, for real, I know whole people that, you know what I'm saying, that had babies and, you know what I'm saying, got women pregnant and they stay at home with the parents, man. It's like weird to me. Like, yo, how you start that conversation off? You get that joke, you know what I'm saying? I stay at home with the with the folks, man. But let's get into the comments, man. Let's get these people these
Yeah, it's on you, man.
it's
You got
on me.
you
I
got
gotta click
comments.
them in and do it.
Yeah, you got comments today, Ace.
All right, Tiff, the last comment that was pushed, it was anxiety provoking, had to downsize and adjust to the new environment. I would agree that is something to adjust to a new environment. At the end of the day, you got to adapt to something that's different than what you're used to. You got certain things that you grew up. List the age that you moved back. If you move back home, list the age that you were when you moved back. That's probably interesting dynamic. I think I was married, so I had to be like, I got married at 23, 24, so I had to be like 25 when I moved back, 25, 26, 27 when I moved out. I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years, and I bought my house. I never been embarrassed, but a lot of folks don't have nowhere to go and have nobody to pick up the slack, so I felt blessed. I would agree. But me, I mean, I think it was embarrassing more so because I had I had a wife, and my first year when my daughter was born and I brought her home, I brought her to that home, and my daughter took her first steps in my parents' home, and then I bought the house, and it was, I never forget, it was winter because it was snowing when I bought my house. Yeah. Yep. The first time I moved back, it was for my child, so I had no feelings. The second time, I was angry that I let Purple Dinosaur put me in that kind of position. Yeah.
She be killing me with his purple dinosaur thing.
When my dad asked for rent, I quickly moved out. Wish I would have stayed longer and paid the low rent and saved money. And apartment life set me back financially. Man, that is so much. I can certainly identify with that, Tawana. I did the same thing. My dad, I never forget, my dad charged me 250 a month. That was his joint. When I graduated, nothing else, no lights, no nothing. 250 flat. And then I found out I could pay my aunt 300. Split rent with her for 300. And then as I moved on with her, it was still that same dynamic. So at the end of the day, I think is wanting something for your own. It's nothing like having your own, but at the same time, it's nothing like that 250 straight up. Flat. Done. No lights, no cable, no nothing. Just 250. Done. God, boy. You know what I could do right now? All my bills were set back to 250. Well, I could change the world. I don't know. I gotta think of a bill right now. I got that. It's $250.
Cable bill.
One bill. I think my kid was like, yeah, it's $250. But phone bill, nah, phone bill ain't $250 no more. I got family play. I got tablets and everything out there. I ain't got a $250 phone bill no more, cuz. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy, man. But yeah, man. I'm sorry. Let's go to the next one. I'm just gonna read these things out. I stayed with them through the illness and death, man. Shout out to you, Todd, man, for doing that, Mr. Hemp, man. It's tough, man. Tough. Yep. My life actually got back on track when I moved back home. I can agree. So same here, same here. I really corrected a lot of things that I did wrong. Ain't nothing cute about paying all these bills. Saying I wanted to be grown was the craziest thing I ever said. Can you remember the exact time that you said it though? Like go back to man, I can't wait till I get out of this joke. Told my daddy one time he was working on a car. I said, man, I ain't never working on. Well, it's kind of correct. I don't work on cars, but I told him about I ain't working on a car. I'm pay somebody to do my doggone job. But then I had to pay somebody, pet boys. Woo. I'm like, man, dang, I could have put the brakes on myself.
Hey, I actually remember when I said it, and it won't typical. I was I was in the Marine Corps. I was sitting there. I was back. I had just got back from deployment. I was sitting back on my boat, and I was talking to Kev, and I was thinking like, man, I'm getting out of here. Like life gonna get so much easier when I get out of here. You keep this gun. You keep this bag. You keep all this stuff. I'm going. It's gonna be easier when I get out. I say about 3 months later, I'm like, man, I sure wish I had my bulletproof vest. I want to go back.
Boy, life come at you fast, boy.
Boy,
Smack.
come at you fast, yeah. It's hard out here.
So Water says it's beneficial to have a safety net. Yes, definitely, yes. Yes, I have in transition. Sense of independence and privacy. Yes, that's definitely, I mean, that's one of the major benefits of moving out on your own. Sense of independence and privacy. Good comment, Tiff. Great comment. Um, this are the bulk of the comments right here. I moved home after college, and then my whole family moved with my parents when transitioning back here. Whole family, yeah. It's an interesting dynamic. Like you see me and my sister saying we moved back home both 2 times, both at separate times though. We never were all back there at one point in time. It's like she hit when she moved out. I know my parents probably got worked over because as soon as one of us moved out, the other ones, hey, I'm back. It never a break for either one of us, but they love us dearly. My parents want me and my family. My parents want me and my family want to move in with them now. Laughing out loud. They just want me there to take care of them. Yeah, I would agree, Chrissy, that I think our parents kind of miss because I mean, even though we go to church every Sunday, we go to church and see each other every Sunday. They do miss us a lot. And they probably want to see us like every day. It's crazy. The older you get, the more you miss those times of spending every day playing cards and chilling with each other. It's dynamic. But yeah, that's the bulk of the comments right now. Let's get on with this next topic. Next topic. Y'all keep the comments coming, man. Good job, y'all. Setting boundaries, man.
Oh man, that's a good one. Setting boundaries. How do you establish these boundaries?
I think the boundaries are set from the person that's moving in. I mean, to the person that's on the residence. Because the one thing I'm not going to do, I can tell you this right now. If it's my household, I have a certain set of rules and regulations that I want done in my. Now, some of these rules and regulation boundaries can be adjusted slightly. You know what I'm saying, depending on the fence, but at the end of the day, it's some cold hard things that just ain't gonna be moved. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, what I'm saying, my parents wouldn't allow me to, what I'm saying, being saved, they ain't gonna allow me to just do anything I want to do. At the end of the day, I couldn't drink in the house. I
Did
could drink
somebody had to tell
outside
you?
the house.
Did somebody have to tell you that, or you had to try your hand at it?
No, I automatically knew. I felt like that was the simple respect. I don't think that was not even a boundary I pressed. But I would say the boundary I pressed was coming in drunk, you know. And I came in drunk. I used to drink a lot, so I came in like every night drunk. It's like every night. I got out of the truck drunk. I started drinking and I left the shipyard. And by the time I got home, I was drunk when I got out of the truck. Dad told me, you start drinking as soon as you get off work and drive an hour home. By the time you get that hour home, you done pulled up 3 times. You stumbling out the truck, son. I'm do. I'm dead serious. I'm not making this stuff up. But yeah, man, that was coming in late nights. You know what I'm saying? Parents shouldn't have to. I couldn't imagine the things I put my parents through. I really look back on and say, man, they had a lot of love for me. Because to deal with me coming in late nights, you shouldn't have to deal with it. Imagine you turn your lights on. You know, when you shut your house down, you shut your house down. Imagine somebody coming in 2 o'clock in the morning. I get mad when I allow a person staying over my house and they come back in the house 2 o'clock in the morning, laughing and giggling. And you know the drunk movements. You know drunk movements, man. Man, ain't no funny, man. I'm in here trying to sleep and I need my peace. And you in here, refrigerator open at 2 o'clock in the morning, warming up the microwave. Every sound bothers you at 2 o'clock in the morning. It don't matter what they doing. Every single sound they do bothers you. So me learning that and understanding what my parents had to deal with, man.
So do
It's
you establish the boundaries? Do you read somebody to riot at when they stand with you?
Yes, I definitely think you should be because I think my parents put up with stuff that they shouldn't have put up with, and they took on a lot of stuff that they should have just said set the boundaries. But at the end of the day, I would have just got PO'd and probably just did something else even worse. So it depends. Because
So
I
you
had
think
other options that was
so you
much
think
worse.
you think that's realistic? So let's I mean we talked about that experience, but let's fast forward a little bit.
Mm,
Let's talk about when your babies say they gotta come back home.
mm.
You about to sit here and read them the ride deck at the front door while they holding their bags?
No.
like how you gonna do it? Like how does that work?
Now I think my from the get go when my child moves out, they should know the basic rules. So it's the same when you come back. The rules ain't changed. The rules still on the wall. Rules of this house don't change. My rules are set by Bible standards. Is you read it in that word and if I'm wrong, you my daughter has the law book. She can go to the Bible, whatever you want to quote in the scripture that's in there. If I'm doing wrong and you feel like you've been wrong, cite the scripture. Cite the scripture. That's what you can do. Well, anybody know that about a lie. If you feel like I'm out of line, cite the scripture and I will correct from that. But if you don't come biblically, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And you standing there, I could say, I'll bring this out. This is a true joke. I took on I had people to stay in my house at one point in time, and I have a rule. As for me and my house, you will serve the Lord. We go to church on Sunday. When my daughter asked me why we go to church on Sunday, I said we go to church as a family. We all a family. We all go to church. You underneath this roof, you don't go to church. You don't have to go to church, but you can't be underneath the roof. So as long as you're underneath this roof, you go to church on Sundays. We go as a family. When the family goes, you go. And that's just the rule. That's the set standard. And you might not agree with that. She can move back home. She could be about 24 years old. She'll never go to church. She ain't been to church since she moved out. When she get back, the day she get home, the first Sunday, flicking on that light, go ahead, get ready. Go to church. Go to church as a family. That's just the rule. That's the rules of my house. If I bend that rule for anybody else, like it's the same thing for my wife. It's the same thing for me. You can call me on my exact the same rules I met. You can call me on. Let's say I stay home, right? And my daughter's and I decided not to go to church. You know what? I'm giving up this junk. And she was like, "You made the rule, Daddy. You got to go to church on Sunday." All right, I got to get up and go to church on Sunday. It's just the rules are the rules, man. And that's it. My standards are biblical standards,
Okay, all right. So, all right, I've done the same thing. I've had people live with me. And I'm
though.
gonna tell you, I got one that ain't the whole church thing. I'm gonna tell you what I don't like. I don't like getting up and going to work, and you laying
And
on
you
the
still
couch.
there. Mm.
I don't like it. I don't
Need to
like
be
it.
out there looking for a job or something, man.
I don't like.
At least have your stuff folded neat.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna.
Yeah. Because if I come back home and you still on the couch, like
Yeah,
now I feel away. Like now I'm tight. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm tight about that.
sweat on your brow.
Yeah,
You like,
I don't know why. Oh no, it do something to me. You got at least fake it for me. At least fake it for me. Do something. Show me that you did something around the house. Take the trash out. Do something. Like if you wait until you hear my truck pull up, at least get up off the couch at that point. Secondly, you can't spend more time on the video game than I am. So, so if I'm at work, when I come back home, I don't want to see that you've been on the PlayStation all day long and I had to go to work all day.
yeah.
Can't do it. I'm a hater, I guess. That's what it is.
No, I think it's the adjustment to the same fact of a person going to Food Line and buying, you know what I'm saying, getting that budget together, get that food, and see that person come through with all that cart and rip out that food stamp card. You like, you're not hating. You just got crab legs, steak. You over that Joe
Get
sandwich
ramen
meat.
noodles. Yeah, get ramen noodles.
Work hard for your sandwich meat.
That's a tough one.
It's
Man.
not hating on it. I'm not saying I don't want you to have it. It's just me feeling like, I work hard to suck.
All right, so we talking about all right, and then this man, like designated spaces and stuff for things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I think that if you're gonna allow somebody to live with you or you're gonna live with someone, I think that if you can't allot them a personal space, then it ain't gonna work out. Then you're not equipped to have guests, and they're not equipped to have guests if you can't give them a personal space. It might be a couch and whatever it is, but they got to have a personal space. It can't be like get in where you fit in because it's gonna cause too much confusion. Like if you like, I think you have to be able to say I really ain't got space for it.
I don't know. I don't think it should be comfortable. I don't think.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think. I don't think it should be a comfortable experience. Like I won't never comfortable, and I don't feel nothing wrong with it. At the end of the day, if I got comfortable, then I get settled in. I don't think I move out. Like I like my parents for knowing just how much to push. You know what I'm saying? They're always at the right time. I think that's probably a skill set they knew. They knew exactly how much to push. They never pushed too much. They never pushed too left. They pushed just enough to nudge me out into the deep. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they weren't comfortable with me sitting at home in the bird's nest. They were like, yo, you need to get prepared to move out into this world. But they won't just force me out the nest and tell me to fly. You know what I'm saying? Get your wings, bro. Get on out there. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to get out this nest, you know? And that's a perfect amount to know how to do it. Yeah.
How you feel about leisure, right?
We mean leisure time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think I'm a bit of a hater. But like you can't be clubbing every single week. You can't be doing all that type of stuff, but you
Yeah.
like I said, it's the hater in me, I guess. I don't know. It just don't sit right with me. I feel like in my mind, if you need to stay with me, you gotta be on your grind, man.
Yeah, I told you, man. Like I think it would be tougher for my daughter to move back home with me than it was for me to move back home with my parents. Maybe that'll be different when I get older. I could say right now, my rule would be, you know what I'm saying, them doors locking at 12.
Mm,
If you ain't here by 12, I don't know where you sleeping.
come on,
You
man.
ain't sleeping here.
Well, I tell you what, these guys be talking so tough. If that baby show up at 2 in the morning,
Huh?
if that baby show up at 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
you opening that door. So stop. They ain't got a cap.
I'm a real
They ain't got a cap
real
for
tough
that,
person.
man. Like I
I'm
can
real
say that
tough
right
person.
there. Listen, man, I might have a little attitude.
I don't know. Me thinking of my daughter. Like I know it's real hard because we see our kids where they at right now. But I don't know what I would see my kid as an adult. And I know I don't really have a hard time teaching a lesson. I think you know, you can at least tell this difference between me and you, Ham. I believe in consequences for action. I believe at the end of the day, when bad behavior is presented, you have to have consequences at the end of the day, or it's not helping that individual. You know, I believe that. From the end of the day, I believe in consequences to help individuals get the, and that's just because of me. I think my consequences have helped me get to the place I'm at today. Without those, I'd be doing the same thing. Without those 4 DUIs, I'd still be drinking. At the end of the day, that's just a fact. If I didn't get my DUIs, I'd still be drinking. And it took four. I kept drinking after three. The fourth one is the one I said I'm sick of this. Yeah, but it took four exactly. After the first one, I kept drinking. Second one, kept drinking. Third one, kept drinking. One to the fourth one that I said, you know what? I'm done with it. So yeah, consequences correct bad behavior. So I believe the only way to stop her coming back in the house any time of night into my house is to put my foot down. So what do you do? Just because how can you set boundaries? Let's start it from there. If you set a boundary and they break that boundary, what's the consequence? What's the consequence? Because you can always go, that's my little girl. I don't want to have her out. How do you enforce the boundary then?
I don't know, man.
That's why I say you got to take some hard
Um,
things.
yeah, I know.
Because
I know that ain't. I know that ain't it though for me. I ain't
so
knocking
you
nobody
ain't gonna have
out.
no boundary. Might as well not have a boundary.
Might as well not.
Yeah, so you don't believe in the setting boundary thing then.
I do. I do.
So
I
what do
mean,
you do?
I
Well,
probably, I
name
probably,
a
I
boundary
probably,
then.
in that situation, I understand. All right, so my son, yeah, I might throw him a pillow, tell him go sleep in whatever car he came in. I might do that. My daughter, I can't do it. I can't
That's
do
all right. Hey, let me
it.
ask y'all females. Tiff, you don't think that's sexist? Cause I'm gonna ask her from a woman perspective. I think overall, I think at the end of the day, like let's say this, I guarantee y'all agree with this. All right, so parents can be harder on the girl about having underage sex than I mean, harder on the girl about having premarital sex than the boy, right? That's probably like a universal term. So, is that right? You think it should be fair on both sides? Do y'all think the parents should be equal on the boys of having sex before marriage as the girl having sex before marriage? You always see that picture on YouTube with the dude, the mama walks away. Your son back there, he ain't got, and he walk, all right, and then dap him up after, you know what I'm saying? You always see that, but you never see that aspect when it's the girl or something like that. So they need to be covered. Their fathers until they're married. The first conversation I had with each grown child, my expectation and rules of my house. June Houston. The first conversation I have had with each grown child, my expectation and the rules of my house. Nothing hard to handle. Go to work, go to school. All right. So the question I have: what if they don't go to work, don't go to school? I'm not saying anything's wrong with boundaries. I think we all agree that we would have certain boundaries. What do you do when the boundaries are pressed? And I'm gonna go to Tiff's comment. Yes, it should be the same. I would agree. I think it should be the same. I think if I'm hard on my daughter about having sex before marriage, I would be equally hard on my son. So I believe in treating both the same. If I'm going to tell my son that he got to sleep in his car, then I cannot. And that's why I say about the life of a man being somebody we're comfortable. Just hey, I think it's easier for a person to see a homeless man than a homeless one. And there's in the society it should be both. It should be hard for you to see both. My daughter is a rough rider. She can sleep in her car. My son can get in because I know he's not going to stay out there late. Yeah, you're right. Kamario will be the one that say I'm gonna be at home at 9 because I don't want to sleep out in the car. It's just it.
Uh,
3 strikes and then you out. Jules said 3 strikes, she out. Will you so that third strike, will you put your tell your daughter you gotta sleep out in the cars? Yeah.
it ain't never gonna happen. I'm the wrong one to ask for this, man. I'm a straight punk, man.
So she just go do what she wanna do.
Obviously,
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, but let's
I
be
mean,
correct about it. You're not
I
gonna
mean,
say.
listen. I'm the wrong one for. I am not the subject matter expert in this. I am not,
I
man.
told you we.
All I tell
I
you,
have noticed we differ in the fact of like
yeah, I'm,
putting in consequences for action.
I just, I don't know, man. I mean, cause I just know how hard the world is, man.
Hmm.
And so, for me, I rather be a guide than than to be the discipline.
See, I agree with it. I think the world is hard. That's why I think you have to, prepare your child for the world that is not gonna just be lenient on consequences. I
I know.
think at the end of the day, if you're not prepared, there's gonna be consequences for your actions in life. If you don't prepare them for that and they think they can just do whatever, it's just a tough way to go.
I have a very serious question that obviously I need to answer because it's been asked twice in here.
For real, bro.
For real, bro. Unfortunately, I don't do that no more. We got to discuss this offline because I know I have said the last time that I'm letting somebody else do that because it never works out the way I want it to. Lord knows.
Yeah, it's a tough thing.
It's a tough thing, man. Like it's tough. It's tough.
I know I can't. I can wait, and I have tried. I told you I tried, and I think it's very very hard to let somebody just to enter that dynamic. I mean, I think this is a hard thing. I think it'll definitely be hard for my kids to move back in with me, and
Yeah,
it's sad because I think it was easier for me to move back home with my parents, and I should give them the same thing. But I think I'm a different child than my parent. I'm a different parent than my parents, and my
yeah,
child's a different children
and
than me.
and I'm gonna tell you like, shoot, um, well, I think I've had a few people live with me, and each situation is different, and still at the end of the day, like it becomes a point of whether it's intentional or unintentional, boundaries will be crossed.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it ain't even worth jeopardizing a relationship doing it. So I probably am not going to do that anymore. Like,
Hmm.
I'm probably not going to do that anymore unless it's the two that live here now. That's
Hmm.
probably the only ones that can move back. That's it. But all right, so now we got to go to the next one, right?
Uh-huh.
Financial considerations, cash considerations, as the NBA says.
When you talked about this, you more so talking about paying when they come back, right? Like versus just having a flat nothing. You can just stay till you get on your feet.
Yeah. So like when I say cash considerations or financial considerations, all right, what they got to pay, like what are the financial goals we're trying to accomplish here? Because I think a lot of times that's a boundary we don't really clearly outline, like what we're trying to do. Because once you start outlining what your financial goals like of getting on your feet, because getting on your feet could involve that child living with you for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to figure out what getting on your feet is. You know what I mean? Like we got to define what that
Mhm.
is. Um, like, and I think it's a little bit different in the boundaries. What you think?
Yeah, it's much much different. I could say, remember I said the rent when I moved out was 250. When I moved back it was 500. The rent double. I mean, the cost of inflation is crazy.
Mm. Yeah, 500 make you try to go find your way on it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a multifaceted. I mean, even though I was forced to move back home, it was an interesting time because my parents could use that 500, so it worked off both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my parents had bought a new house, and that 500 helped them pay for that house, and it's just worked out well on both sides. So yeah.
Sheesh. All right, so all right, let's talk about it then. What do you think?
The financial consideration, I think that should be number one. I'm always, me and him. I think we agree fundamentally on this. Everything should be done up front. At the end of the day, I think Hamp had a problem with me. I know for sure that he not gonna beat around the bush. He gonna let me know right then and there, and I appreciate it every time. Don't beat around the bush. If I want to charge somebody something, I'm not gonna wait. And I think people that wait for somebody to understand, like what I'm saying, for them to pay you something, and you ain't got a number or nothing like that, just you ain't put it out there. I think before they even step foot through the door, it should be established of what needs to be paid, and don't assume that a person knows.
Mm.
It's something like, hey man, you've been staying here for quite a while. What you think? You think this stuff free? Nah, he might. I mean, it's no agreed upon. So I can't read your mind. I don't know, man. I'm paying this stuff. Well, say something, bro. What do you need? I don't know what the bill says, bro. I don't know nothing. Let me know the cat. That's something that should be broke down and established from the get go. And if that person ain't prepared to do it, they ain't prepared to do it. Don't rope a person into something that they don't necessarily want to do. You know?
Okay, okay. So, all right, when people get on the feet, right? All right. So, when we talked about like what's your financial goals, what's a realistic financial goal?
A realistic financial goal
Yeah.
can buy. You mean like buying a house? Cause I think the biggest financial goal for anybody would be buying a house. I think it's very, very, very. That's probably the best financial goal I could say for a person is to buy a house. If I were
I
the
mean, there's a
smartest thing
lot.
I would have did, I would have bought a
There's a
house
lot
at
of
a young age.
factors.
I would have bought a house when I was 20. I should have bought one when I was 20. And I should
Yeah.
have bought another one when I was 25.
I mean, there's a lot of different financial reasons why. Like, sometimes buying a house ain't the right time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if say you just got out of college, you know what I'm saying? You ain't, you know what I mean? You just got out of college and you try to get on your feet. Like, that might not be the most responsible goal.
Now I disagree because I think buying a house that's without your means, yeah, certainly. But you can buy a shack. You buy something. You know what I'm saying? Like most people go out there, I want this, my day one house or something like that. But most people I know that bought a house and did it right at 20, they bought something that right within their means. If you're gonna pay rent, you know what I'm saying? You're paying it down a hole anyway. You could pay towards something that you're gonna own. And there's so many different things that you could do with a house. It's a lot of things you could do with a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot
Hmm.
of financial things you could do. It's basically like having a bank to your own. You know what I'm saying? That you can do a lot of stuff with. You can do a lot of things to flip.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's another conversation for another because I do believe in home ownership. Obviously, that's what I do
Yeah.
for a living. But I don't always think that home ownership is always the right time. Foreclosure is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a real thing. People really go through that. Like you really got to have your stuff in a row. Like before you go out there and jump out there because it ain't easy, man. When you go into the rent man, if something don't work, rent man got to fix it.
Hmm.
You at your house, the roof start leaking. You got to fix it and pay that mortgage. There's a lot to it. Like you got to be prepared for that. But like we're talking about like realistic goals, like because one of my fears is having someone move in and then they never really get on their feet.
Mm.
Like I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the
Oh, you
reason
want to
why
see the steps towards success, like
Yeah,
steps to
yeah,
get
we
you out
gotta,
of it.
yeah, we gonna be working on getting you up out of here. Like this is not for.
I think the first thing depends on how far did they hit bottom. Like how
Mm,
far did you
that-
hit bottom? Because at the end of the day, like let's say transportation, I think transportation is the number one asset you need to have if you're a person that's trying to get on their feet. Because at the end of the day, you trying to get to work, you need a way to get back and forth to work. If I'm driving you to work, that's the first thing. Forget trying to get home, try to get transportation back and forth towards a stable job. If you don't have it, that's another thing. You have to have a job. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a way to make money. So I think number one, it depends on how far a person hit bottom, where they start with, and have an assess. And I think that at the end of the day, that's you. I think it's kind of responsibility of the person to stand. I don't know. Sometimes that could be overwhelming for a person to you all in my business, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm in your business because you made a bad. You the one that's here.
yeah,
Obviously, you're making good decisions.
got it.
So I mean, I think it'll start with a house, transportation, and then home. But I mean, not a house, transportation, home, but a job, transportation, then home. But you got to get a job.
Here go the last one. What's a reasonable amount of time that we talking about?
Depends on how far a person hit bottom.
What's a reasonable amount of time, sir?
If I hit rock bottom, a month I can be on my feet If I you strip me down to the bare essentials, if I walk out of this house right now, butterball naked, if you give me a month to stay, I get on my feet.
I think that's extraordinary. I think, but
Saying
I
that's
mean, rest
extraordinary.
of yeah, I think that's extraordinary. I mean, like a month, like you can't even get. Most people can't even because it take 2 months rent just to get a place.
No, I'm
You,
saying
you
if
know,
you allow me to stay somewhere, and I'm not talking about getting a place. I'm talking about like staying at home, like get back on my feet. Sure, I can get back on my feet, and I can get me a. I got a trade, so it's not that hard for me to get a job. As long as I got a trade, I can weld, and that ain't gonna stop. So if I can do that, I can get a job just by any welding company. So
yeah, I
so
think
yeah, let's say 3 months. Then I'm gonna go with Tiff because Tiff is always smart. I'm just gonna copy her answer.
yeah,
3 months.
yeah. I think I see. Tawana says 6 months no longer than a year. I think 6 months is probably. I think when you go over 6 months, and 6 months is kind of pushing it.
Yeah,
Like anything over 6 months, like you
you're a
probably start.
resident.
You're starting to wear your welcome. Like you're starting to wear your welcome. Like you get stuff is coming to the house now. Like
Uh,
yeah, like yeah. I don't know. Yeah, 6 months is
let's say
that's
they put their food in the refrigerator with their name on
oh yeah. See now we're doing
it. Man, you're old at
yeah
it.
yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Man,
Don't
put
do
his food on the joint with his got his name on that joint with the day inside this man. Nah,
that.
that ain't
And
cool.
I
I
got
eat
one.
it on. I would literally eat it on purpose. Cause that's
Look,
all I'm telling you.
I got one worse, man. I seen a resident of mine with the refrigerator open. It was finishing off the orange juice. It wanted the cup. He was drinking out the bottle. He was finishing up the orange juice. And at
Oh
that
yeah.
very moment, I said, "This ain't gonna fly." I don't even know how much orange juice was in it before he turned the top. But the
Yeah, you
thought
got
process
it.
of me watching him twist that top and turn that thing up
Yeah,
and
you
stand
got
in
it.
front of my refrigerator, I said, "Oh
Yeah, you got it.
no, 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 this,
Something
yeah."
just burn. You just start getting hot.
I'm just
It's
getting
like,
tight. I'm tight there, man. I'm tight. Like it could have been that much orange juice in there before he started. But
yeah, bro.
that visual that I got there, I said, "Oh no."
Rather
Yeah,
that man dirty up a whole
yeah,
nother dish.
yeah. You too comfortable. And what we got next, man?
All right. Next one is last one. Planning for the future.
Planning for the future. What do you do to help them get on their feet? Is it your responsibility to take some money and save it for them? Like
No.
I've been hearing. No, I'm serious. I'm gonna tell you. I heard of this right. So somebody I sold a house to, they said that their kid was coming and they was charging them rent, but when they was charging their rent, they was saving it so that they could give it back to them as a down payment for them to go ahead and do so.
Whoa. That's interesting.
So I mean, at that point, like I was like, man, that's kind of brilliant. So just imagine, like like last time you came home, they was charging 500, and you say you stayed there. If you stayed there a year, 5 times 12, you know what I mean? That's 6 months.
Yeah.
You could you
I
could
could
you could
say,
you could start good somewhere.
yeah. I could say that, oh man, I got a friend, man, that just recently bought his house. He's in his 30. He just bought his house. He bought a $500,000 house. He put $250,000 down. He stayed at his parents' house for a long period of time, and they never charged him anything. He saved all his money up just for that house. It's just life saving. He never spent nothing. He just charged over, but he got wealthy parents, so he was able to never spend anything. All his checks just went towards, you know, putting that money together to buy that house. I think that would have been a very, very great thing to do, man. Just hearing that, but he's very, very financially competent because he had parents that was very, very successful. So I think a lot of it go into how successful your parents is. I mean, every
Yeah,
parent can't just do that. Just pay for that child until they turn 30. Like
yeah,
everything, food, everything. I'm talking about like he didn't have to pay for nothing until he got 30. He just bought his house. So all his money went towards money that he had cut out to go on a date or something like that. But other than that, his money just going straight towards
yeah. I
his
mean,
future.
that says a lot about him,
Yeah.
and that's discipline, Yeah, that's good stuff. But
I don't know if I give you, well, let's say 12 years from 18 to 30, 12 years.
yeah,
He started apprenticeship when he was like 19, so he been in the shipyard for
yeah.
years.
For 10 years. I mean, 10 years.
Yeah,
Putting 25,000 away a year. I mean, that's that's good stuff.
yeah, good bands. It's stacking that paper.
Yeah. So you saying that you got no. And then the next question is, this is what I'm gonna ask you is, if the person goes too long, or they find this cycle repeating itself, is it okay to say no?
What do you mean? Explain.
Okay.
I'm not
So
getting.
if let's just say, God forbid, your son, every 2 years he's coming back home. Is it okay to say no?
The first thing I start off, son, why you even move back out, man? You might as well just, hey, man, maybe you need to give it a longer time because you keep, maybe you're trying to get out too fast. Let's reset this. Because at the end of the day, I do agree. I could never stop helping my child. There's never be a point where it's too much. Like it's kind of that forgiveness thing, 77 times 7. It's not a point at where I think I'm not one of those parents to say once you are out, I'm done. Nah, I think because that's not the way my parents raised me. So I'm your parent for the duration of your life. Regardless, whenever you need help, I want to be the person to help you. So it's not enough times that he can come back home. Every time you come back, I'll be there every single time. So my concern would be why he continues to fall. Why does he continue to come back? What is the things? What's the relation to the reasons why he keep coming back? I think that I will more so look into that. What are you doing? What are these steps? Because a person can fall once or twice, but eventually you're supposed to learn how to, you know what I'm saying? It's like let's say you're teaching your daughter how to ride a bike. She fall, that's a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? She fall off the bike. She fall off again. But let's say she continues to fall every single time. Every single time. Either you're gonna say you need to ride on training wheels for a little bit longer, you know what I'm saying? Or we need to go see what's going on with your balance. Maybe something's going on. Maybe you're not, you know what I'm saying, what's going on because it's not normal for somebody to fall off a bike 50 times, 100 times before they learn how to run. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm tracking, man. I'm tracking because
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing, man. Because at some point, I think that you're doing them a disservice if you just making your house a turnstile and we're not figuring out what's going on. Because
Mm-hmm.
my fear is I am not always going to be there. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
if we create this cycle, if
Yeah.
we create this cycle that I gotta bail you out all the time, I might not always be here. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so let's figure this out, and let's. It might have to get your mom to do your finances. We might have to do this. We might have to like at some point. At some point, it's gonna get to it where it's probably gonna be more difficult for you to come back home because now we got to start working on. We got to start working on planning for the future at this point because that's more important than you being comfortable in here staying. Like we're gonna have to get some classes. We're gonna have to do some stuff
Mm-hmm.
to start this work. But man, I think we didn't hit it all, man.
I do want to touch on a comment, a great comment that I agree with. Tiff made is all right. Tiff said, and I agree with this. Until she marries, but she has to work and go to school too. I won't rush my daughter out until she can get out. Well, I'm a person that believes um religiously and biblically, my daughter is under my covering until somebody I'm prepared to give her away to somebody that loves her and supports her and wants to cover her as much as I do and values her as much as me. I believe in giving her away. And my daughter ever come to me for my opinion on somebody, if I don't believe they deserve her, I'm gonna tell her no. She can go out there and do what she want to do, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give my opinion. I won't give her away at that wedding. I'm very, very strict on that. Until somebody comes to me with a good enough standard to love my daughter the same way I do, like my daughter get a certain amount of age, I give her a ring, and then to you do enough to take that ring off and put yours on, then nah, it's a promise ring for you. I think I seen that in the movie. I think it's Most people saw that movie. It's a very very known Christian movie. I think it's why is it not coming to me? Forget it. I get it later. Probably show it in a later one. But yeah, I think that's the standpoint. Like my daughter is underneath my covering. That come from biblical standpoint. My daughter is underneath my covering. She's my responsibility until somebody else will come up and take that from me. Not take it, at least stand up strong enough for me to say I can give my daughter to you, and I feel comfortable with that. That's my pride and joy. I love her. Now laying down right now, I'm gonna pick her up and carry her and put her in the bed. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. When my daughter turned 36, she can start dating, and then we'll cross that bridge at that point. It's like 36, 37, something
Yeah,
like that.
36, 37. Sometimes I might be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, stop. Nah, I find it interesting. I look forward to my daughter meeting a man that's better than me. That's better than me. I could be proud of, and I'd be happy to give her away to him. I want to. If I raise her right, I trust and believe that she's going to go out there and find somebody that's worthy. Yeah, worthy of her hand. Yeah. I just want to know how valuable she is. I think that's the ultimate thing of a father to tell a daughter how valuable she is, and don't let the world tell you she's anything less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's close this thing out, man. What you got?
Hey man. Again, I got this thing right here to show y'all, man.
James swings inside and misses it. Sends it to Hachimura. James ahead of the pack goes up. Oh, he lost control. And the crowd delights in that. I can't ever.
Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Murray throws it ahead to Yoke. It's stolen by James. Keeps it alive.
And
James
you let her go.
layup, missed it. Rebound Murray. Now they have to foul, and they do. James on a great 42 minutes. Here comes James. 10 seconds remaining. James stripped and stolen by Brown. Brown in the front court. That'll do it. Brown will dribble it out.
Staring at the bottom of the glass, hoping one day you make a dream last. But dreams come slow and they go so fast.
I should have never sent that to you.
Hey man, I just want to start off saying shout out to the man Brian, my boy Ham.
That was private between you and that, man.
Hey, I want to say this from the bottom of my heart to all you LeBron fans, all you Laker fans. I don't like y'all. I can't stand y'all. It does my heart well to know that right now y'all are awakening to the fact that LeBron James is getting to the end. It's getting to the end. It's time to bring that thing on to the pasture. That cut to the baseline, that layup, oh my God, that wasn't a sign of age. What kind of layup was that? Woo! But yeah, that's 3-0. We can all say it's over. Do you still believe it's a comeback in the week? Yeah. Basically, we have Nuggets versus Heats in the NBA Finals. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. I'm rooting for Jimmy, man. Come on, Jimmy, get you one.
Hey,
I was a Melo fan. Now he's retired. It's
hey,
crazy,
shout,
man.
hey,
Shout
shout
out
out
to
to
Melo.
Hoodie Mello, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad that he officially retired because I'm so tired of looking at all these top 100 players or top and nobody's putting Mello there. Like Hoodie Mello was that guy. Like Hoodie Mello, he did everything but win a championship. Hoodie Mello is in that top 100. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah, I
And he closer than 50 if he ain't over that line than a lot of people. So yeah, shout out to Mello. 19 seasons. All right, man. You said what's your closeout, man? Because I know it can't be the shade that you're throwing. You gotta have
Nah,
something
again,
positive.
man, I apologize for the long hiatus, man. We are back, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna attack this week strong. We got some upcoming episodes. We're trying to get a series together. I think it should be on. I'm gonna talk to Hampton about it before I put it out there, but I think it should be definitely on something that's that's valuable to everybody that's involved. At the end of the day, we want to do what's best for y'all as a community. Like I said, we are a family, we care, and we enjoy these things, man. We enjoy these conversations at the end of the day. Miss this, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Still attacking the same way y'all always do.
Yeah. Boom, bam, bean ball. Thanks for coming here. Uh, I'm just happy to be here. Like this is one of my bright spots of my day. If y'all would, if you haven't had a chance to hit that thumbs up, please do. That really does mean a lot. Um, Another bit of currency, if you could share it, that would be great. That is extremely important. Um, with that being said, love yours. We out.